going on, Jerome's 13 days to the Love Shack, 13 days until the 2025 NFL Draft, and only one Vikings player was drafted number 13 overall back in the day, 1984. Defensive tackle Keith Millard, coming out of the Washington State University, two-time All-Pro, 1989 Defensive Player of the Year, and what could have been? Like, if he didn't get hurt, he possibly could have gone down as one of the greatest defensive tackles of all time. And that's not even being hyperbolic, man. 53 sacks in 5.5 seasons. Just what could have been. Yeah, my arms are bigger than your guns. That whole thing. But it's just a bummer. Yeah, but Keith Millard's still a badass back in the day. And, hey, we need to get back to this. Also, I feel like we need to get back to the deep purple of the old school Vikings uniforms, man. Also, like the wide gold and purple stripe on the side. Woo! We used to be a proper country. That's right. Also proper is April Draft Month fundraiser. All Venmos, Cash Apps, Super Chats during live streams donated to the show will go to Twin Cities and Seoul, South Korea adoption charities and support organizations. Goal for the month was $2,500, currently just shy of $1,400. The Jeromes are fantastic at paying forward, and love doing this, whether it's Food Shelf in November, whether it's Toys for Tots, Salvation Army for December, but yeah, this is a cause obviously is near to my heart because, my last name is very Norwegian. Yeah, but families deserve a chance to grow, and these kids deserve a chance to have a loving home. And just any way you can support it and help out with these organizations, thank you very much in advance. Jerome's already crushing it. That's right. Also, speaking of someone who got crushed for 6, I feel really bad because Bradbury seems like a good dude. Just wasn't a good center, right? Garrett Bradbury, Vikings release a wake-up call, a chance to reprove myself with Patriots. And this is what he said. Bradbury, blah, 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 Patriots, blah, 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 start for the Vikings, blah, blah, blah. That's the business, Bradbury said. You never want to feel comfortable, but that's a wake-up call. That's, all right, here we go. That's how they feel, and they move on. There's no ill will. I'm not bitter towards the Vikings. Why would you be bitter? You stole a paycheck for 6 years, man. It's just a new opportunity for me. I think that there's a change. When there's a change, I don't take that opportunity. You're not going to grow from it. So it's more about, all right, I got to reinvent myself. I get to reprove myself. And the minute you think you have it figured out, you're gone. So new team, new chapter, new offense. What can I bring? And you have to bring it every day. That's the biggest thing I've learned. Meeting room, practice, weight room. So not even a wake-up call, but it's just new. It's exciting. It's a fresh start, new opportunity. Pray for Drake May. That's all. And I'm glad that there's no ill will because the business is the business. The Vikings had opportunity with Ryan Kelly to upgrade the position, and Bradbury, he tried hard. He was a decent leader, calling protections in line of scrimmage, decent in run blocking as well. Just pass protection was just not there. So sort of is what it is. But again, pray for Drake May. Also, our guy Emery Hunt, go check out his draft guide. It's very comprehensive, very good stuff. Every draft cycle and the previous year, next year's class is generational. Well, except for, I don't think we said that last year about this year's class. Summer, 45 top 10 locks. Fall, no way insert player falls out around 1. I feel like that happens a lot. Now, it's not even just the fall. It's ubiquitous. Like, well, there's no way that player falls out of the first round. It happens. Post All-Star game, 65 first-round risers. Early April, draft ain't deep, only 3 first-round grades. We've had that with this class because there's analysts that have come out and said like there's 14 or 10 to 14 first-round grades. Mid-April, 34 teams looking trade out first. This is when things start to heat up, when teams are like, reports from NFL insiders. Oh, Team XYZ is open for business. They're trading down, but they're perfectly fine sticking and picking. Okay. That's how it goes. But Emery completely right in that department. Also, someone who's right, Benjamin Morrison. Right, so Morrison and his hip labrum. But he is going to work out privately in LA on Monday, which is fantastic to see. And Morrison... or does he work out in Arizona? It's one of the two. But Morrison's a baller, man. The pride of Notre Dame. This is from PFF College. 45% allowed completion rate, 9 interception, 12 passes broken out, 44.1 passing rating allowed when thrown out, which is good, and a 90.5 PFF coverage grade, which Again, there is questions about the hip, but if everything checks out, Kwesi loves the medical guys, and I don't think that Morrison is going to be a first-round pick. I know that some mocks have him there. I think he'll be fringe. I think that he'll be a top 45 selection. So if the Vikings somehow find themselves in a trade-down situation and see themselves at the top of the second round, I could see Benjamin Morrison being a Viking. I think his skill set, both in man as well as especially in zone, I think that it syncs up with what Flores wants to do on the outside, and kid just balls, man. But that hip is a major, like, it's not just a knee, it's not a shoulder, it's literally just a hip, right? Well, not just a hip, it's literally a hip. So have to do a lot of diligence and have to take a big leap of faith. But Benjamin Morrison, super talented. Also, so we haven't really brought this up because I don't think that Kelvin Banks gets to 24, but what if he does, right? So Kelvin Banks, thanks, a multi-year starter at left tackle for Texas. Hook him, baby. And ideally, you'd want to keep him on the outside. I think that, frankly, he would make a ton of sense. Like if the Bears just took Kelvin Banks at 10, I think that he'll be their left tackle for a long time. Be protecting Caleb Williams' ass. I think they'd be good to go there. But Banks, somehow, if he gets to 24, I think the Vikings should consider him to move into left guard next to Christian Darrisaw. And Darrisaw is a player that he's often comped to, just given his size, quickness, and physicality. All right. And long story longer, Trevor Sickham over at PFF. 2025 NFL draft player comps, Kelvin Banks, Elijah Vera Tucker. So AVT, same draft as Christian Darrisaw. And also, like, he was drafted, I believe it was the pick that the Vikings traded out of, because I think the Vikings went from 14 to 21. Something like that. And Kelvin Banks, Elijah Vera Tucker, great tackle at USC, kicked inside, has been a kick-ass guard when healthy for the Jets. This is what he wrote. Banks has been subject of hot conversation about the 2025 offensive line class, questioning whether many of the offensive tackle prospects will be better suited at guard at the next level. The Texas product lists at 6'4", 320 in college, but his body composition makes it look like he's shorter than that. But at the NFL Scouting Combine, he measured in over 6'5" and 26th percentile arms, by 82nd percentile wingspan. That makes his snaps at left tackle over the past 2 seasons all the more impressive, but I don't think it's out of the question he could be drafted as a guard early on in his career before kicking out to tackle. Or it could be a spot, too, where you draft Kelvin Banks, start him at left guard, and then eventually in 3, 4, 5 years, he moves to right tackle. And then Darrisaw and Banks, let's go. Banks' versatility reminds me of Elijah Vera Tucker, who has primarily been a guard with the Jets, but there's a handful of times they need him to step into tackle. He's done well in that role. Both also move well in a squatted position. Staying loaded to use power while maintaining leverage. Banks' style, size, and versatility give me Vera Tucker vibes, but I will say that I think Banks should get more of a chance at a full-time tackle than Vera Tucker has. So, like we said, I think that Banks, for any, I can't get my. Is it annoying? So you got like the Apple Watch alarm just like going in the background. You can't hit the button. But yeah, I think that the Bears at 10 make a ton of sense. Frankly, the 49ers, estate planning for Trent Williams would be fantastic there. The Cowboys always need offensive line. I think that Banks with Armstead retiring for the Dolphins 13. I mean, there's a ton of spots where Kelvin Banks makes sense. But I mean, drafts are weird, and it could be a spot where if Banks is on the board at 24, just do it. Just do it, and we'll figure it out later. Like, is he gonna play guard? Is he eventually going to play right tackle? Also, if Darrisaw doesn't begin the season at left tackle, if he's on the PUP list, like, does Banks start at left tackle? Don't know. Lots of things going on, but I would take a shot because I do think that Kelvin Banks is super talented. Also talented, TJ. So TJ Watt posted on social media, deuces. Mark Caboli, yes, he of the famous Tomlin picture. After talking to people, I keep an eye on this Steelers TJ contract situation moving forward a little more closely. It doesn't appear that the Instagram picture below he posted yesterday was just by chance. I'd imagine an extension is still going to eventually get done, but the price tag might go up a tad higher than some expected. So part of it is wanting a long-term extension, getting paid. Him and Myles Garrett have been having like a running battle of who's the best, blah, blah, blah. But TJ Watt's also never won a playoff game. And the Steelers have been fine, but have they been great? They have not. And their current quarterback quandary certainly doesn't help things, right? And obviously QB, but with TJ Watt holding things down on opposite side and the Steelers just having a gong show at quarterback, I see why he's fed up with it, right? And I'm not saying, I'm just saying, give it to my baby. TJ, come on in, man. Even though he's a stupid Badger, I don't care, man. I don't care. Something I do care about. So the 2012 NFL draft. Yeah, maybe we should just randomly pick some of these drafts because I thought that this one's going to be the one. All right, so Leslie Frazier, first year, didn't go great, right? And now you have all this draft capital. Vikings actually had the number 3 pick. This is the 2012 class where it was Andrew Luck to the Colts at 1, RG3 to Washington at 2, and the Vikings were at 3, but then they suckered the Browns that traded up from 4 to 3, and the Vikings got some more draft capital, and the Browns took Trent Richardson. Trent Williams would have been great, but wasn't that class. Anyways, but the Vikings, this is the danger because Matt Khalil was seen as a maybe not generational project, but a very safe prospect. You know, start a left tackle for the next 10 years, and you're good to go, right? And here's the thing: Matt Khalil's a good dude. Matt Khalil at hat is a good person, right? I just never saw the dog in him. I feel like Matt Khalil would have preferred to be 5'10", $170, you know? Because a lot of players in the NFL, NBA, whatever sport du jour, like they're not in love with the game, they're in love with what the game brings. The money, the cachet, the ladies, all that stuff. It never struck me that Khalil loved the game, but he was just 6'5", 310, sweet feet, long arms. Also, Pops was a player back in the day. His brother Ryan Khalil definitely had that heart and dog in him. So it was just sort of, hey, baby brother, you were playing. That is it. But he never struck me as the type of player who lived and breathed the game. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's a lot of players in the NFL right now that don't love the game. But Khalil started out solid early, then he had that knee injury, and I think that just lingered, right? Also, it was so fun. Remember when that fan was talking ish to Khalil in the parking lot, and Khalil just like flipped his hat backwards, and everyone sided with Matt Khalil. I guess the fan was kind of a douche, but you know this draft also Harrison Smith, Notre Dame, no big deal, no problem. All right, and Spielman did maneuver at the back end of the first round to go get this done, trading up the second and change. Josh Robinson, I mean, if Josh Robinson was 6'1", he would have been great, but he was 5'10", and he was aight. Jarius Wright, I mean, for a while there, like there's a stretch during the Zimmer regime where Josh Robinson was playing at a high level, and then they played the Bears, and Alshon and Brandon Marshall just completely humbled him. It was not good. It wasn't good, man. And then Jarius Wright, Red Ellison, Greg Childs. Spielman was doing this thing where he's drafting teammates over and over because he did that this year with Harrison and Blanton. Also Kyle Rudolph in the second round, 2011, plus Kendricks and Barr, obviously. Yeah, Spielman did that for a while. And it sort of makes sense. Like, if you're at a game and you see multiple players play well, or if you're watching tape, you see multiple players play well, that makes sense, right? But Jarius Wright, slot machine, 1-7, was good to go. Rhett Ellison was a solid blocking tight end for a while. I think his dad, Ricky, was sort of outspoken in the media. Greg Childs was supposed to be it, man. And Greg Childs was supposed to be legit, except just multiple knee injuries to both knees, and it was just not good. Blanton was funny because you can always tell who watches the game and who just looks at the box score, because Robert Blanton would end every game with like 12 tackles, right? But Vikings fans were so frustrated because 3-6 would just give up like 360 yards of offense. But analysts just watching the box score would be like, oh, Robert Blanton, tackling machine, 12 tackles. Now, and we even coined a phrase called Blanton tackles, where it's like your guy in coverage catches the ball and then you tackle him. That's no bueno. Blair Walsh. I mean, Blair Walsh was good for a hot second, and then, the shank at the bank basically ended him. Audie Cole was great. The back-to-back preseason pick sixes. Solid linebacker there for a while. Prior to NC State. And then Trevor Guyton is also a player. So that's it. But, I mean, yeah, this 2012 class was supposed to be it. And also, Spielman always getting his 10 picks. Got a couple more this time around. It's kind of funny, man. But, yeah, this is supposed to be generational. Didn't quite happen. Sort of is what it is. But that's it. That's it. Vikings news dump for this beautiful, gorgeous Friday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.